Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about an old school game. Metamorphosis Alpha from TSR. This is the second printing, printed in 1978, written by James M. Ward. This is one of the first role-playing games I ever purchased. When I bought it, and I bought it back in 1978, it was $5. It's a softcover, 32-page document. Most places wouldn't even consider this a game product any longer. It's so small. This falls into the category of module length, really. And this is an entire role-playing game. Now, I realize that at the time, role-playing games were just in their development, and lots of things were left out and were expected to be adjudicated by the GM as was needed. I have evolved beyond that at this point in life. I want a game to have more mechanics to handle a lot of the work for me. I want to be the person in charge of the direction of the story and not worrying so much about how to keep the engine running. I really do enjoy a turnkey kind of a system. That being said, there is something beautifully simplistic about an entire game that fits into 32 pages. This is based off of the TSR most famous game, Dungeons & Dragons, and uses pretty much that core mechanic just translated into a science fiction game. Now, what is the heart of this game? The heart of this game is the ship that you see right here. That is the SS Warden. The SS Warden is a colony ship. The basic premise is that Earth decided to create colony ships to explore the galaxy. Now, a colony ship is a ship that is going to be sublight, so it's not going to be moving incredibly fast. This is a universe where certain aspects of science work, and then certain aspects of science are pure fantasy. So the ship doesn't move faster than the speed of light, so it's going to take hundreds of years to get from point A to point B. To avoid that problem, the crew and the passengers were allowed to live their lives on this huge vessel in very natural settings. I mean, this is a huge structure. There are multiple levels with entire ecosystems set up in this. So you have a level that could be all savanna, a level that could be all temperate forest. And the people are allowed to live their lives like they're living on a world. So that over time, they would raise their families, and they would start another generation until, 5 or 6 generations down the line, the ship finally ends up at the planet it needs to go to. At least that's the theory. What happens to the Warden is an accident. The actual accident is up to the GM, of course, but the suggestion is it flies through some kind of radiation band of some variety, and there's a massive die-off of the crew, specifically, and a lot of the colonists. Because of this, there is a severing between the characters past, the people who built the thing, and the next generation that survives the disaster. So the next generation are very much in a post-apocalyptic setting, and they don't know they're on a ship. For them, they're just on a world. It's a flat world. It's a world without a curve, and the ship is trying desperately to keep them keep functioning so that these people don't all die off, but the ship itself was damaged. Because of the radiation, a lot of the people that survived the disaster are not pure strain humans any longer. They have been mutated. Their DNA has been altered forever. And this is where the science fantasy part comes in, because a lot of the mutations that these people acquire are beneficial, which of course isn't how mutations work in the real world. When you get radiation, if it doesn't kill you outright, your offspring are probably 99.999% going to have something that's going to kill them, or at least, if you're lucky, not make their life worse than it would if they hadn't been mutated. Very rarely is there ever going to be a mutation that's positive. But this is a game So they wanted to give people things like functioning wings and laser eyes and super strength and stuff. So this is a world where the laws of physics are very much immutable. It's up to the GM how much and how little they apply. I've run this as a straight-out campaign and had a great time doing it. I've sneaked it into a campaign where the characters thought they were just in a post-apocalyptic setting and unaware of the fact that they were on a ship. So you can use this in a number of different ways. The early issues of Dragon actually had some nice articles that supported this, and those could be accessed through the Dragon archive, which I actually have access to the original CDs that they put out, because I got rid of all my Dragon magazines that I didn't need. But this game is a wonder for anyone who is used to the modern kind of bloated things that are available in the world today. That you can get an entire game in 32 pages, and you can run an entire campaign, and you never have to have any other books. This is very much like the first edition Game World, which I also own a copy of. In fact, this book I have right here on my desk was in the box with the first edition Game World game, even though the fourth edition is my favorite. But for those out there who really love the Metamorphosis Alpha first edition, this is a treasure for any collection. There have been a number of other editions of this game. I think I own 2 of them. I don't think I own the latest one. But I own the Alternity, and I think they put another one out that I also own. But I recommend this to anyone who is a lover of old school games and just wants a piece of history from Jim Ward and Gary Gygax and the original TSR crew.